Very good morning to my dear students of class 7. Here am I to explain to you all the poem The Vagabond by Robert Louis Stevenson. I have already given you a brief introduction of the poem in the previous video. So without much ado, let me start with the first stanza of the poem. The Vagabond by Robert Louis Stevenson. Give to me the life I love, let the leaf go by me. So here in this poem, the poet is the speaker. So he begins the poem by asking the kind of life he loves. And he says, let the leaf go by me. Leaf here refers to the world. He says, let the world pass by me. And he says, give the jolly heaven above and the byway nigh me. So what sort of life does the speaker want? He wants the jolly heaven above. Jolly heaven means the vast sky above his head, and the byway nigh me. Byway means the road. So he says that let there be a road next to me, so where he can every day travel around. Then he says, bed in the bush with stars to see. Here the speaker does not ask for a comfortable and a cozy bed to sleep, but he wants a bed in the bush. He wants a natural bed. He wants to be in the lap of nature where he could see the stars above. And he says, bread I dip in the river. He says that early in the morning he is not going to have his bread with a hot coffee or tea, but he wants to dip his bread in the fresh water flowing in the river. So these are the things the speaker he yearns to have. He yearns to have the world pass by him, the road pass by him, and he wants the great outdoors around him with the open sky with full of stars, and where he could have breakfast with fresh water. He does not want anything related to the world, whereas he wants to live his life entirely in the lap of beautiful nature. There is the life for a man like me. And the speaker says that this is the sort of life I long for. There is the life forever. That means he wants to live this kind of life forever and ever, where his friend will be the nature, and he wants to spend his entire life in the lap of this beautiful, extravagant nature. Then what does he say? Let me move to the next stanza. The second stanza for you all. Let the blow fall sooner late, let what will be over me. So here in the second stanza, the very first line, let the blow fall sooner late, this line refers to death. So here the poet is saying that he knows that he is going to die sooner or later. Let what will be over me, that means be it death, whatever it might fall upon me. So here the poet or the speaker, he very well knows that one day eventually one person has to, or an individual has to surrender before death. A person has to die sooner or later. But what does he want? He says, give the face of earth around and the road before me. No doubt one has to eventually die. But he says that give the face of earth around. All he wants is the great outdoors and the road before me. That means he wants the road where he can every time wander around, move and travel. So from these very lines you will come to know that the speaker has already accepted his fate and destiny. He knows that one person has to die. He knows that an individual has to give up. But he is not disheartened and saddened by this very fact. Instead, he says that let death fall upon me, but still what I want right now is the vast sky above my head and the road next to me. Then he says, wealth I seek not, hope nor love, nor a friend to know me. The speaker, he does not want to earn wealth. He does not want to earn money. He does not want love. He doesn't want any friend. He totally wants to detach himself from the worldly things. And he wants himself to be in the lap of only nature and nothing else. All I seek, the heaven above and the road below me. So he is not interested in anything attached or anything related to the world. The only thing the speaker wants is the road and the heaven, means the great outdoors and the vast sky above him. Then what does he say next? Let me read the next stanza for you all. Moving on to the next stanza, the third one. Or let autumn fall on me, where afield I linger, silencing the bird on tree, biting the blue finger. So in this very third stanza, if you read it, you will find that the poet or the speaker talks about the harsh conditions of autumn and winter. Because during this, seasons, you will witness a nip in the air. So here the speaker says that let the autumn fall on me. But still I'm gonna linger, means but still I'm gonna move around or travel around in the field. And what happens during the autumn season? Silencing the bird on tree, because usually the birds, they prepare for the chilly winter. And during autumn, what do? They prepare themselves for the upcoming cold winter, and they stop singing, and the very cold or the very chill, it silences the bird. That means the birds, they do not sing during the winter because of the cold. But the speaker says on that very cold, he will be biting the blue finger. See, you can imagine the very autumn, you will find the nip in the air, the birds, they'll prepare for the upcoming cold, and the speaker himself is feeling cold and he's biting his finger that has turned blue because of the cold. Then he says, white as meal the frosty field. During winters, what happens? Because of the intense snowfall, the entire field turns white because of the snow. Warm the fireside heaven. But still he says that no doubt, no wonder the birds, they will be silenced. They will not be singing on that very season. And even I'll be biting my blue fingers, whereas the fields will be frosty and all white. But still, he is not going to yield. He is not going to give up. The speaker here, he says that he is going to have a fireside shelter during those cold winter season. Not to autumn will I yield, not to winter even. See, despite of the cold, he says that he is not going to yield. He is not going to give up in that cold. He is still going to travel around where he will have a firewood shelter near him, and he is going to enjoy the beauty of nature even in that severe cold. So this is what he wants in the very month or in the very harsh conditions of winter, where he does not want to rest, where he doesn't want to go back to his original home, where he is not going to yield, but he wants to move, he wants to travel ahead as much as he could. The last stanza, dear children, is the repetition of the second one. The speaker has repeated the second stanza towards the end, just to emphasize the fact that he is going to die sooner or later. But what does he want? All he wants is the vast outdoors, where the nature will be his friend, and where the open vast sky with full of stars will be his ceiling, and he wants a road next to him where he can travel every day and where he can move forward without stopping a moment. So this is the end of the poem, The Vagabond. Here you come to know the speaker's, the deep longing to travel and wander around, and where he can enjoy the true sense of freedom and independence. So children, if you have queries and any doubts, those will be further clarified in the classroom.